The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. In the deep dark of space, thousands of alien nations felt fear growing each day. Trade routes that were once full of ships were now empty. Space stations locked their doors. Whole star systems stopped answering calls. Everyone knew why. A mysterious enemy, known only as the Devourers, had returned. No one knew where they came from. No one understood their purpose. But everyone knew what they left behind. Nothing. They moved from system to system like a cold storm. Planets burned. Fleets vanished. Stations were cut apart like paper. Every species tried to stop them, but all failed. The Devourers did not talk. They did not negotiate. They only consumed. Across the galaxy, distress calls filled the communication networks. Some were clear. Some were broken. Some were only screams. But all shared one message. Please, someone help us. Yet no army was strong enough. No empire was brave enough. No coalition was united enough. Fear spread faster than light. Even the great powers, those who ruled sectors for thousands of years, began to panic. In this darkness, one detail confused many alien leaders. Humanity stayed silent. For years, humans avoided wars. They avoided alien politics. Their ships rarely left their own territory. Some believed humans were peaceful. Others believed they were weak. Many believed they simply did not matter. But on this day, everything changed. Across 300 star systems, sensors started flashing with red alerts. Technicians panicked. Commanders rushed to control rooms. Scientists stared at screens with disbelief. Something was entering the war zone. Something big. Dozens of alien fleets watched the incoming signal on their long-range scanners. The shape was unclear at first, just a growing shadow across the star map. But as it moved closer, the readings became more detailed. And fear slowly changed into shock. The object was not one ship. It was many. Hundreds. Thousands. An enormous fleet the galaxy had never seen before. Alien communication rooms exploded with noise. Unknown ships entering Sector 9. Energy signatures off the scale. We have no record of this technology. Size comparison, impossible. Some vessels are the size of cities. As the fleet came closer, the scanners finally read the identification code. Human. Across the galaxy, every species stared at their screens in disbelief. Humanity, the quiet neighbor, the distant traveler, the small voice in the Great Galactic Council, had just arrived with a fleet that shook the stars. The ships glowed with blue and silver light. Their hulls carried strange designs, sharp angles, and deep armor layers. Some had rotating rings. Some had shield emitters larger than alien cruisers. Some had weapon ports that crackled like lightning. The aliens watching had only one thought. This cannot be human. But it was. For generations, humans kept their true power hidden. They acted normal. They acted average. They acted harmless. While the galaxy argued, humans prepared. While empires fought over borders, humans built something else. Something greater. Something they hoped they would never need. The Apex Fleet. A fleet designed not for conquest, but for the moment when someone had to stand against the darkness. Now that moment had come. In the war zone, alien ships drifted in silence as the human fleet moved between them. Some captains were too shocked to speak. Others were too afraid. A few simply watched with wide eyes, trying to understand how humans had achieved this level of power without anyone noticing. Massive human dreadnoughts moved into formation. Their engines burned like suns. Their weapons hummed like distant thunder. A strange energy field spread around them, cutting through the cold emptiness of space. Then, for the first time, the human fleet spoke. Communication channels burst open. A deep, calm voice echoed across dozens of systems. This is the human Apex Fleet. Static filled the speakers for a moment, then the voice continued. We received your call. We know the danger. We stand with you. Alien commanders froze. Soldiers on damaged ships cried in relief. Civilians on planets listened with shaking hands. It was the first message of hope the galaxy had heard in months. As the human fleet powered its weapons, every scanner in the region started to glow bright red. The Devourers were entering the sector. Their dark, cold energy spread across the horizon of space like a black wave. The alien captains braced for death. But the humans did not move back. They moved forward. Every ship of the Apex Fleet aligned in a single giant formation. Shields activated. Engines roared. The fleet looked like a shining wall of light facing a storm of darkness. And at that moment, the galaxy understood the truth. Humanity was never weak. Humanity was never slow. Humanity was never unimportant. Humanity was preparing. Preparing for the day the galaxy would need them. Preparing for the day the darkness returned. And that day was today. The Devourers did not stop. After leaving entire systems in ruins, they moved like a shadow across the galaxy. Their path was predictable only in its destruction. Every planet, every fleet, every station in their way was obliterated. No defenses mattered. No weapons could pierce their shields. Entire civilizations vanished in minutes, leaving only silence behind. The alien council watched their movement from a distant observation station. Panic filled the room. Holograms of the Devourer swarm showed hundreds of massive ships, each larger than the greatest battleships of known space. Their energy signatures were black, absorbing light, swallowing scanners, leaving instruments unable to track the full size of their fleet. "This is the worst we've seen," muttered one elder commander. His clawed hands shook over the control panel. "They're heading straight for Sector 12. That's the refugee world, almost 5 billion civilians, unarmed, undefended." The room fell silent. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy feared for its innocent. Sector 12 was a peaceful planet. It had avoided wars, treaties, and politics. But peace could not hide it from the Devourers. In orbit above the refugee planet, small fleets of alien warships tried to prepare. Their numbers were strong compared to the local planetary defenses, but compared to the Devourers, they were nothing. Their energy cannons barely grazed the shadows of the approaching swarm. Missiles disintegrated mid-space. Fighters were vaporized in seconds. And yet, the Devourers did not slow down. On the planet below, panic erupted. Millions of refugees crowded spaceports and shelters. Families ran toward evacuation ships, but the ships were too few. Some sought refuge underground. Others simply prayed to stars they had never noticed. They knew the swarm would arrive soon. And everyone feared the same truth: the Devourers never left survivors. From the edge of the galaxy, sensors picked up a new signature. A formation of unknown ships, hundreds of kilometers long, moving at impossible speed. Alien commanders paused. Their instruments blinked in confusion. This was the same fleet they had seen days before. Humanity. The humans had left their own systems quietly. They had moved fast, faster than anyone could track, and now their fleet was in position. The communication channels between the refugee world and the approaching human fleet were silent at first. Then a calm, steady voice filled the speakers. "We see your danger. We are coming to protect you. Do not panic." Below, the alien civilians froze. The voice was strange. Calm. Powerful. A simple sentence, yet it brought relief stronger than any weapon could. Soldiers on the planet's surface lowered their weapons slightly. Families stopped running. The refugees dared to hope. The human fleet appeared in orbit like a wall of light. Their ships were enormous but agile. Their engines glowed with a soft blue light, cutting through the darkness of space like a beacon. Human warships formed tight formations ready for battle. Sensors showed strange energy patterns. Weapons never seen before. Shields that absorbed more than any alien science had recorded. The Devourers did not care. They came closer, faster, their swarm filling the sky. Ships of every size moved with terrifying coordination. Their dark energy shields pulsed like a heartbeat. Their main guns emitted waves of destructive energy. They had never faced resistance. And resistance was coming. The first shots hit. Human ships did not dodge, they advanced. Lasers and missiles bounced harmlessly off the Devourers' shields. Then the humans returned fire. Not one blast was wasted. Ships moved in perfect formation. Beams of energy tore through the swarm, breaking apart enemy ships in ways no alien fleet could manage. The Devourers' first encounter with human fire ended in chaos for the swarm. On the planet, civilians and alien soldiers alike watched from orbiting stations. The humans were not just fighting, they were dominating. Every move was calculated, precise. Every strike was deadly. The refugees whispered stories of legends, saying, "These must be the warriors of humanity, the ones no one predicted." And yet, the Devourers were relentless. More ships came from the darkness beyond. The humans adjusted. Star lances deployed. Gravity nets anchored large Devourer ships. Void torpedoes detonated in controlled explosions that shredded the swarm. Every tool in the human arsenal was being used, yet the fleet stayed calm. They did not panic. They did not fear. Above the battlefield, alien commanders stared at the displays, trying to understand the humans' speed, strategy, and power. "How can a species this young, this quiet, hold back such a swarm?" one whispered. "They were never meant to fight, yet they fight like gods." the Devourers struck hard. One massive ship broke through the human front line, moving toward the planet with the intent to destroy everything. But the humans anticipated it. A squad of warships moved at impossible speed, cutting off the Devourer ship from the main fleet. In a flash of light, the ship's engines were disabled, weapons destroyed, and it spun harmlessly into the void. The human fleet never hesitated. Every ship remained in formation, ready for the next strike. Every attack was met with an equal counter. The Devourers began to realize they were facing something different. Not just a fleet but a force they had never calculated. Not just firepower but strategy, discipline, and precision. And somewhere in the void, the galaxy began to whisper the truth. Humanity had arrived. Humanity had always been preparing. And now, the Apex fleet would show the universe why humans were the strongest force it had ever seen. The planet below the human fleet was alive with fear. Refugees scrambled across the surface, their eyes wide, their voices trembling. Many had never seen war. Many had never imagined that their world could be the center of a cosmic battle. But now, the sky above burned with light, an overwhelming glow of energy, movement, and power that seemed impossible to comprehend. At first, the aliens on the planet thought the Devourers had arrived. Their massive, dark ships blotted out stars, their engines pulsing like a heartbeat of death. Panic spread like wildfire. Families abandoned vehicles, soldiers abandoned their posts. Everyone was certain of one thing: the end had come. Then something strange happened. The shadows of the Devourers shifted. The fleet did not move as expected. Something new had entered the battlefield. Something enormous. It was human. At first, the aliens could not believe their sensors. They checked and double-checked. Hundreds of colossal ships, far larger and faster than anything they had ever known, glided into the system. Their energy shields shimmered like a second sun. Their weapons hummed with a strange, almost musical power. They did not attack immediately. They simply arrived, silent and calm, moving into formation around the planet like protective sentinels. The aliens below could only stare. Their mouths fell open. Their hearts raced. Some whispered legends about humans, stories their ancestors had dismissed as myth. They had never imagined the stories were true. The humans did not make threatening movements. They did not fire on anyone. They simply stood guard. Their presence alone was enough to stop the Devourers for a moment. Even the enemy paused, sensing a new danger they had never faced before. On the planet's surface, human soldiers began to descend. Dropships of incredible size, shaped unlike any alien craft, entered the atmosphere. Their armor gleamed in the dying light of the system's sun. Each soldier moved with precision and discipline. Their weapons were strange, elegant, and deadly. Every step they took radiated confidence. The aliens stared in disbelief. "They are humans?" one officer asked, voice trembling. "They are real?" A human commander stepped forward. His armor reflected the light of the human fleet above. His helmet obscured his face, but his voice carried across all frequencies, calm and steady. "We are here to protect you," he said. "Do not fear. Stay behind us. You will not be harmed." For the refugees it was a miracle. For the alien soldiers it was a shock. For the Devourers, it was the first time they sensed true opposition. The human fleet above shifted into defensive formations. Energy shields expanded, creating a protective barrier around the planet. Smaller human ships patrolled high orbit, scanning every possible approach. The aliens watched, mesmerized. They had never seen strategy executed with such speed and perfection. "Look at them," whispered a young alien engineer. "They do not hesitate. They do not panic. They move as one." "Yes," replied a veteran commander, voice shaking. "They are not just fighting. They are gods of war." Meanwhile, the Devourers adjusted. Their dark ships moved closer, testing the human defenses. Energy blasts cut through space, striking at the fleet, but the humans anticipated every attack. Their shields absorbed the hits. Counterfire struck the Devourers with incredible accuracy. Each explosion shredded multiple enemy ships at once. The humans on the surface moved through cities and refugee camps with calm precision. They guided civilians to safety. They organized alien soldiers. They repaired damaged defenses. They did not hesitate, did not panic. They simply acted as if this was what they were born to do. An alien journalist recorded the scene in disbelief. "I have seen hundreds of battles," he whispered into his recorder. "I have seen thousands of soldiers fight. But I have never seen discipline, skill, and courage combined like this. The humans, they are something else." The Devourers realized something terrifying. These humans were not just strong. They were smart. They anticipated every move. They controlled the battlefield. They were patient. And most frightening of all, they did not fear death. Above the planet, the human flagship adjusted its weapons. A massive cannon charged silently, a blue glow growing along the barrel. Sensors picked up the largest devourer ship yet, a world eater larger than any human ship or alien dreadnought. It moved with purpose toward the planet, ready to destroy everything. The humans did not flinch. They moved into position. Smaller ships surrounded the giant enemy vessel. Energy shields locked in place. Weapons systems activated. It was clear, the humans were ready to fight and win. The devourers hesitated. Never before had they faced an enemy so calm, so prepared, so confident. They sensed that they were not just attacking humans, they were attacking the apex of strategy and war. And on the planet below, the aliens finally realized the truth. These humans were not ordinary. These humans were something the galaxy had underestimated for centuries. They were protectors, warriors, and masters of war all in one. The first contact had been made. And for the devourers, this first contact would be the beginning of fear unlike anything they had ever known. The galaxy watched in awe, in disbelief, and in hope. Humanity had revealed its true power. Not through words, not through threats, but through action. And the message was clear. Do not underestimate humans. They are coming to save the galaxy. And they will not fail. Space itself seemed to hold its breath. Above the refugee planet, the human fleet shifted in perfect unison. Ships of every size glimmered under the starlight, forming massive geometric formations that no alien eye had ever seen. Their engines glowed like icy blue suns. Shields unfolded with a soft hum, spreading a protective dome over the planet below. Sensors everywhere lit up, scanning every inch of space for the devourer's approach. The humans were ready. Every captain in the fleet understood the mission without hesitation. They did not speak needlessly. Their orders were clear, precise, and obeyed instantly. Thousands of ships moved like a single organism, flowing around one another, covering every possible vector. This was not chaos. This was control. From the observation decks of alien fleets, commanders could only stare. They are a wall of light, one whispered. And they move like it is nothing, like space itself answers their commands. Below, on the refugee planet, humans prepared the ground forces. Soldiers in advanced armor deployed rapidly from dropships, creating defensive lines around population centers. Their weapons were unfamiliar, but aliens recognized the discipline in their movements. Even civilians felt the aura of confidence radiating from the humans. Panic began to lessen. Hope grew. Then the devourers appeared. The swarm emerged from the dark void, more terrifying than ever. Their massive ships glinted with black energy. Swarms of smaller fighters streamed from the larger vessels like shadows spilling across the stars. The ground trembled as orbital bombardments began, and alarm sirens screamed across the planet. But the humans did not flinch. On the flagship, Admiral Kale, the leader of the Apex fleet, watched the devourers approach with calm precision. He spoke once over the fleet-wide channels. Positions. Shields up. Weapons ready. We end this threat today. Humanity stands for everyone. Do not fail. Every ship responded with a synchronized hum. Energy shields brightened. Cannons powered up. Missiles locked on. Every AI-assisted system checked, rechecked, and predicted enemy movement in real time. The first shots were fired. The Devourer's long-range weapons hit the human front line. Explosions rippled across shields, sending sparks of light into space. Yet the humans remained steady. Counterfire began. Lasers, plasma beams, and void torpedoes struck simultaneously, cutting through the Devourer ships with unerring accuracy. The alien observers could not believe what they saw. The human fleet did not just fight, they controlled the battlefield. Every movement was anticipated. Every attack met with counterattack. The swarm of Devourers began to break apart. Smaller ships were destroyed first. Larger vessels were corralled, trapped by invisible energy nets and precision strikes. On the planet below, ground forces coordinated with orbital units. Evacuation ships moved civilians to safe zones, while human soldiers guided alien defenders, giving them courage they had never felt before. Every human knew their role. Every human executed it perfectly. Then came the decisive moment. A Devourer super dreadnought, larger than any other ship in the swarm, moved straight for the planet. Its weapons glowed with deadly energy. The alien fleets panicked. Retreat was considered. But the human fleet did not waver. Admiral Kale's flagship activated the main weapon, a colossal cannon that drew energy from multiple ships in formation. It glowed with a pure blue light, pulsating with power that made the stars themselves seem dim. The cannon fired. The blast cut across space like a blade of lightning. Shields bent and shattered under the force. The massive Devourer ship exploded in a ball of fire and energy, scattering fragments across the void. The smaller ships faltered, retreating in fear. Even the Devourers began to hesitate. They had never faced a species that could destroy their mightiest vessel in a single strike. They had never encountered a fleet that moved as one, thought as one, and struck as one. The humans pressed forward. Star lances, void torpedoes, and gravity nets deployed in perfect timing, creating an invisible web of destruction. Every Devourer ship that tried to escape was trapped, torn apart, or disabled. Every strike was calculated, precise, unstoppable. Alien commanders stared at their displays in disbelief. They are not just warriors, one muttered. They are gods of strategy. They fight as if nothing can touch them. And yet, despite the overwhelming firepower, the humans remained calm. They did not celebrate. They did not boast. Every action was methodical. Every movement had purpose. This was not a display of power, it was a demonstration of mastery. From orbit, civilians and alien soldiers watched as the tide of battle turned. Hope blossomed where despair had reigned. The Devourers, the unstoppable nightmare of the galaxy, were faltering. Admiral Kale spoke once more over the fleet. His voice was steady, clear, and resolute. Hold the line. Protect life. Show them what it means to face humanity. We do not retreat. We do not surrender. Humanity stands. And humanity will prevail. The Apex fleet had activated. The battle had begun. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt something it had long forgotten. Hope. The Devourers had never faced resistance like this. Their swarm moved like a black tide across the stars, yet every attack was met with precision and power unlike anything in the galaxy. The human Apex fleet advanced in perfect formation, shields glowing, weapons humming, engines burning like distant suns. From orbit, the refugee planet watched in awe. Massive warships sliced through the void with grace and deadly intent. Smaller human craft darted between enemy vessels, striking with speed and skill that left the Devourers struggling to react. This was not a fight. This was domination. Admiral Kale's voice echoed across the fleet. Do not give them room. Strike together. Protect every life in this system. Humanity does not falter. The humans obeyed. Lasers and plasma beams cut through Devourer fighters like light through darkness. Star lances fired from the largest ships, piercing enemy dreadnoughts. Gravity nets immobilized the swarm, and void torpedoes detonated with calculated precision, destroying multiple enemy vessels in a single strike. The Devourers roared their fury, their black energy shields pulsing as they tried to regroup. They sent wave after wave of ships forward, each one larger and more terrifying than the last. Alien commanders held their breath as massive energy waves tore through the void. But the Apex fleet adapted instantly. Ships shifted, countered, and trapped the attackers before they could reach the planet. Human soldiers on the surface moved like shadows through cities and defensive lines. They directed evacuation ships, repaired defenses, and fought off Devourer landing parties. Even alien defenders were inspired by the humans' courage. Every shot, every maneuver, every decision was calculated. They were not just soldiers, they were masters of war. Then the Devourers revealed their deadliest weapon, a colossal mothership, the largest the galaxy had ever seen. It glowed with dark energy, dwarfing the human flagship itself. Its weapons fired enormous beams, flattening space stations and destroying smaller ships instantly. Panic spread among the alien fleets. Many began to retreat. But the humans did not hesitate. Admiral Kale ordered a full assault. Hundreds of ships moved in perfect synchronization, surrounding the massive Devourer mothership. Star lances were charged. Void torpedoes locked on. Gravity nets deployed. Every human ship became part of a single, massive weapon. The first strike hit. The mothership shuddered. Its dark shields absorbed some of the energy, but cracks began to appear. The humans did not stop. Another volley, faster this time, struck from a different angle. Every attack targeted weak points the Devourers did not even know existed. The mothership shook violently. Energy leaks spread across its hull. Fires erupted in space. On the planet below, alien civilians stared in awe. They had never seen such coordination, such power, such control over chaos. The humans were not just fighting, they were changing the rules of battle. Smaller Devourer ships attempted to flee, but human interceptors blocked their escape. Star lances fired in succession, piercing multiple ships in seconds. Gravity nets held larger vessels in place while void torpedoes shattered them. The swarm began to crumble. The Devourer mothership roared in fury, firing its last remaining weapons. The human flagship charged its main cannon, drawing energy from the entire formation. The blue glow expanded across the ship like a growing sun. The cannon fired. The blast struck the Devourer mothership directly. There was no explosion as one might expect. Instead, the ship was torn apart from the inside, its dark energy ripped and scattered across the void. The smaller ships faltered, then broke completely. The swarm retreated, leaving the battlefield in silence. For a moment, the galaxy itself seemed to pause. Then cheers erupted across communication channels. Alien fleets who had hidden in fear now looked upon the humans with reverence. Civilians wept openly. Refugees who had feared death now celebrated life. Admiral Kale spoke over the fleet one final time. The battle is won. Humanity stands. We protect all life and we will not falter. Today the galaxy remembers what it means to hope. The Apex fleet did not stop with the victory. They moved to stabilize the system. Human engineers repaired stations, restored planetary shields, and coordinated the rebuilding of the destroyed cities. Soldiers helped civilians evacuate damaged zones. Every action was precise, deliberate, and compassionate. The Devourers had learned a harsh lesson. No force in the galaxy could challenge humans without facing complete destruction. They had faced fleets that ruled entire sectors. They had destroyed worlds. But humanity was different. Humanity was fearless. Humanity was unstoppable. Across the galaxy, alien leaders sent messages of gratitude. Entire systems celebrated. The myth of human weakness was shattered forever. Humans were no longer the quiet neighbors, the passive observers. They were the apex species, the protectors of the galaxy, the warriors who could turn the tide of any battle no matter the odds. The galaxy would never forget this day. This was the battle that changed everything. The Devourers had been stopped. But more importantly, the galaxy had seen the true power of humanity. They had seen the Apex fleet. They had seen humans fight not for glory, not for conquest, but for life. And that made all the difference. From this day forward, humans were no longer underestimated. Not by aliens. Not by enemies. Not by the galaxy itself. Humanity had revealed its true strength, not just its weapons but its courage, its discipline, and its unshakable determination. And the galaxy would never forget the name of the fleet that turned the tide. The human Apex fleet. The Devourers had retreated. For the first time in history, the unstoppable swarm that had consumed countless worlds, fleets, and civilizations fled before a single species. Their black ships scattered into the void, leaving trails of destruction behind, but they were gone. They would not return, not today. On the refugee planet, the survivors stepped outside their shelters, blinking in disbelief at the sky. Massive human ships still glimmered in orbit, shields shimmering, engines quieting after the battle. Soldiers walked through the streets, guiding civilians, repairing damaged buildings, and tending to the injured. Their calm, disciplined presence reassured everyone. The humans had not come for conquest, nor for glory. They had come to protect. Alien leaders, previously fearful, now met with the humans in orbit. Their voices trembled with awe and gratitude. You saved our people," one elder said. "Your fleet, your soldiers, how can we ever repay you?" Admiral Kale stood tall on the bridge of the flagship. His armor reflected the dim starlight. His voice was steady, commanding respect without arrogance. "You do not need to repay us. Today we stood for life. That is what matters. The galaxy is stronger when we protect each other." The alien leaders looked at one another in wonder. For centuries, humans had been underestimated. Seen as passive, weak, or irrelevant. Many had ignored humanity altogether. But now the truth was undeniable. Humans were not just capable, they were exceptional. Back on the planet, civilians whispered the same truth. Children pointed at the massive human ships, eyes wide with amazement. Soldiers who had fought alongside humans shook their heads, still trying to comprehend what they had witnessed. Humanity had not only defeated the Devourers, they had done so with precision, discipline, and a calm bravery that inspired all who watched. In orbit, the remaining Devourer ships flickered on sensors. Their retreat was orderly, but their movement betrayed confusion and fear. They had never faced an enemy like this. They had never faced humans. Across the galaxy, other species began to realize a new order was forming. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors but as protectors. Not as rulers but as warriors who would stand for everyone. The Apex fleet moved through the system, stabilizing orbiting stations and repairing damaged satellites. Engineers and AI units coordinated to rebuild essential infrastructure. Humanity did not just win the battle, they secured the peace that followed. A young alien pilot who had witnessed the battle from the skies recorded his thoughts. "I have seen fear. I have seen death. But I have never seen courage like this. The humans, they fight not for themselves but for all life. I will never forget this day. Humanity has shown us what it means to stand tall when the galaxy trembles." The human soldiers did not linger for praise. Their duty was clear. They had prevented a massacre, protected the innocent, and shown the galaxy the truth. But they also understood the greater responsibility. There were still threats out there. There were still worlds in danger. And humanity would continue to stand. Across the galaxy, messages of gratitude poured in. Civilizations long at war paused to celebrate the humans' victory. Some species who had previously ignored humanity now sought alliance, knowing the Apex fleet could protect them. Entire sectors realized that the quiet species from the distant spiral arm was no longer quiet. Humanity had revealed its true strength. Admiral Kale looked out from the flagship's observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before him, calm yet filled with possibilities. He thought of the sacrifices made, the courage displayed, and the lives saved. Humanity had not only survived, they had proven themselves the apex species of the galaxy, not through domination, but through bravery, discipline, and a commitment to protect life itself. A messenger ship approached the flagship, carrying representatives from dozens of alien civilizations. They bowed in respect and offered words of thanks. Kale nodded once, silently acknowledging their gratitude. His focus was not on honor or recognition, it was on the responsibility that came with their power. Humanity had been tested, and now the galaxy knew their true potential. Back on the planet, children played among the ruins, laughing despite the destruction. Survivors rebuilt homes with the help of human engineers. Soldiers shared stories, taught defensive strategies, and reassured the frightened. Life was returning. For the first time in generations, hope was not just a word, it was real. The Devourers, meanwhile, retreated into the dark corners of the galaxy, their black fleets a shadow of their former terror. But the message was clear to all who observed: humanity had arrived. Humanity had shown the galaxy the cost of underestimating them. And humanity would not stop standing for life. In the days that followed, the legend of the human apex fleet spread like wildfire. Ships of every species traveled across systems to see the fleet with their own eyes. Stories of courage, strategy, and discipline inspired entire civilizations. Humans were no longer the quiet neighbors, the overlooked observers, or the underestimated species. They were the protectors, the warriors, and the champions of life itself. And from this day forward, the galaxy remembered the truth. Humanity is the apex species. Humanity fights not for conquest but for all who cannot fight for themselves. And as long as humans stand, no one faces the darkness alone. The stars were no longer silent. The galaxy had hope. And the humans, calm and resolute, watched over it all, ready for whatever came next. The day everything changed had arrived. The galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy held its breath. After the devastating victories against the Devourer swarm, humanity thought the worst might be over. But deep in the void, the Devourers revealed their ultimate weapon, a colossal warship, larger than any planet-class vessel ever recorded. Its hull was black as the void itself, pulsing with dark energy. Entire fleets shuddered at its presence. Alien commanders trembled. "That ship, it's unstoppable," one whispered. "Even the humans can't beat that." But above the refugee planet, the human apex fleet remained calm. Admiral Kale stood on the bridge of the flagship, eyes fixed on the looming threat. His voice cut through the fleet's communication channels. "All ships, prepare for the final engagement. This ends today. Humanity does not retreat. Humanity does not surrender. We stand. We fight. We protect." The fleet responded in perfect synchronization. Shields glowed brighter. Weapons hummed. Smaller ships formed protective screens around the larger vessels. Energy fields pulsed across the fleet like a heartbeat. The humans had prepared for this. Every scenario, every contingency, every possible attack had already been calculated by advanced AI and human strategists alike. The colossal Devourer warship advanced, firing massive energy beams that shredded space stations and smaller ships instantly. Its dark energy expanded like a storm, twisting reality and distorting sensors. Fleets across the system trembled. Even the seasoned alien commanders had never seen such power concentrated in one vessel. But the humans did not flinch. Admiral Kale issued the command. Focus fire. All systems. Every weapon. Target weak points. Move as one. Humanity will prevail. The Apex fleet shifted into attack formation. Hundreds of ships moved like a single organism, circling the massive enemy vessel. Star Lances charged. Gravity nets activated. Void torpedoes locked on. Every attack was coordinated with military precision, exploiting the enemy's vulnerabilities in a way no alien species could replicate. The Devourer warship responded with overwhelming force. Its weapons fired in patterns too complex for most fleets to counter. Space itself seemed to warp under the immense energy it emitted. Several human ships took heavy damage, but each one executed its role flawlessly, ensuring no gaps in the formation. On the planet below, civilians watched the sky with wide eyes. The atmosphere was filled with tension and awe. For the first time, they truly understood the meaning of the word apex. Humanity was not just fighting for survival. Humanity was standing between life and annihilation itself. Then came the decisive moment. The human flagship, supported by the largest vessels of the fleet, unleashed the Apex cannon, a weapon of unimaginable power. Blue energy coalesced, brighter than a star, feeding from the energy outputs of every ship in formation. The cannon fired. A beam of pure, focused energy cut across space. The Devourer warship tried to resist, but the beam struck its core. Energy shields flickered and failed. Its dark hull cracked. Explosions erupted from within, spreading chaos across the massive vessel. Smaller Devourer ships were caught in the blast radius, obliterated instantly. The enemy's retreat began. For the first time, the Devourers faltered. Their black fleet scattered, their formations broken, their morale shattered. Humanity pressed forward, pursuing the retreating enemy while protecting the planet and remaining fleets. Admiral Kale addressed the fleet one final time. This is humanity's stand. Protect life. Strike true. Show them what it means to face the Apex fleet. Today the galaxy will remember. Every human ship advanced with deadly precision. Gravity nets immobilized the remaining Devourer vessels. Star Lances destroyed enemy ships one by one. Void torpedoes shattered their cores. The final wave of the swarm was annihilated before it could regroup. On the planet, alien civilians and soldiers cheered. Relief washed over them like a tidal wave. The humans had not only won, they had protected life itself. The galaxy had witnessed the full extent of humanity's power, strategy, and courage. The colossal Devourer warship, now a shattered husk, floated in the void as a warning. No force could challenge humanity without facing total destruction. The Apex fleet had proven that discipline, strategy, and courage could overcome even the most terrifying enemy in the galaxy. Admiral Kale looked out from the flagship's bridge. Stars stretched endlessly before him, calm yet filled with infinite possibilities. He thought of every soldier, every ship, every life saved. Humanity had not sought glory. Humanity had not sought conquest. Humanity had done what it had always promised: protect life and stand when the galaxy needed them most. The Devourers would retreat, but the message was clear: humanity had arrived. Humanity had revealed itself as the apex species, not by power alone, but by courage, intelligence, and an unbreakable will to protect others. And the galaxy would never forget this day. The final stand was complete. Humanity had shown the galaxy its true face, and no one would ever underestimate humans again.